Is it possible that RTC payouts could lead to professional wrestlers? Well, this question was actually posed to me by Fanco Wrestling channel member Dan Merhofer. So this is the question that Dan asked. So Cornell isn't wrestling this year, unfortunately, and that puts Yianni out again. The landscape of wrestling is changing, and the sport is really starting to grow. With new tournaments, could this potentially pull a top wrestler like Yianni out of college wrestling altogether? I'm just worried that sitting out 2 years is going to make him question if he wants to put his life on hold for 2 more years. And that's a very interesting question, Dan. I appreciate you sending that in and supporting the channel on the Fanco Wrestling Patreon. If you're interested in supporting, you can actually check that out down in the description below. And as far as the question is concerned, yeah, like Yianni is out now essentially 2 seasons. Last season, due to the COVID-19 pandemic and no NCAA tournament because that was canceled. And this season, because the Ivy Leagues have pulled out of the NCAA season. Super unfortunate, just so sad to see. But with this being said, is it possible that Yianni may just quit school and go on to just wrestle for the rest of his life? I think that this is actually a twofold question. The first part is about Yianni specifically. So would Yianni actually pull out of school to wrestle professionally, and is that even feasible? And the second part of this question is about all other wrestlers and kind of the future of the sport and whether that's even possible for them to wrestle and make a good living from these events. So this is where we see basketball players and football players leave early all the time, but what about wrestlers? So let's start with Yianni. And first of all, I haven't talked to Yianni. I don't know exactly what's going through his mind, so don't think I'm speaking for him. This is pure speculation in what I think could actually be happening or going through his mind. So as far as Dan's concerned, and this is not something that I necessarily thought of before, but Yianni's goal, as you may know, is not to be a 4-time NCAA champ. It's to be an Olympic gold medalist. And yes, there's a difference. And let me kind of explain some of these things. So, listen, does Yianni want to be a 4-time NCAA champ? Yeah, I'm sure he does want to be a 4-timer. And he had the potential to be a 5-timer with this extra season of eligibility. But does he... Yes, he wants to be a 4-timer, but the ultimate goal is to win an Olympic gold medal. And what path would lead him there fastest? Is it staying in college for a couple more years and then going to pursue that goal? Is it stopping college now and pursuing that goal right now so he can make that goal to be an Olympic gold champion? And like I've talked to people that say that these are their different things to go through their mind. You know, I think with wrestlers at this high of a caliber, there's just a little bit of a mindset shift with the NCAAs compared to Olympics. Yes, I would love to see Yianni become a 4-timer. I'd love to see Spencer Lee become a 4-timer. I'd love to see all these guys become 4-timers because it's exciting. It's another statistic. It's really cool for the fans to see. But with Yianni, like, yeah, it's possible, but what are his goals? The next thing is, like, if he does pull out of school, he could train harder for the Olympics. He could also potentially get more money from these events, possibly start a brand deal. He also, and I was just looking at Cornell's roster, which I'll have linked down below, for whatever reason, he's actually not listed on this year's roster. Now, that could be due to many of reasons, but he's actually not listed for whatever reason. So, would Yianni actually consider quitting? I doubt it. I think he's going to continue to wrestle for Cornell, and that's going to be his path. Get that degree from Cornell, which is a great degree, as well as continue to wrestle. But you never know. Something like this could happen. But now that brings up the other wrestlers and where these RTC events could be leading the sport of wrestling. So let's look at recent payouts from the RTC events. So first of all, the Flow July 25th card. And this is rumored based on some tweets from, I believe it was Pat Downey a while ago, talking about payouts for certain wrestlers. And different wrestlers are paid different amounts depending on what their accomplishments are, how much revenue and money they're bringing into Flow, but not getting into any of that. This is pure. This first number is kind of pure, like, I saw it, but I can't confirm that. The rest of these numbers are confirmed. So at the Flow July 25th card, wrestlers were paid anywhere from $1,000 to up to $50,000 to wrestle in the event. The 8-man bracket, where guys were if they showed up, they get $1,000, and the winner, Miles Martin, got $20K. The exciting thing is now the new 8-man bracket at 150 pounds, I believe it's 150 or 155, 150 pounds, actually get paid up to $25,000 for winning the tournament. The RTC Cup also paid its wrestlers $2.5K to $50K for the winning team, the Cliff King Wrestling Club, which is essentially $8K per wrestler. Then we want to talk about some other things that go into the money with wrestling. And all this sounds great, and I'll get to exactly why this is pertinent and important. The Living the Dream Medal Fund actually gives wrestlers money for winning medals overseas. A world medal is worth a $50,000 bonus, and an Olympic medal is worth from $25K to up to $250K for a gold medal. So that's kind of what like Jordan Burroughs or Kyle Snyder, or these guys who have won Olympic gold medals, are getting paid. So if these events continue, it's possible. Now, are wrestlers just going to be able to make a living off of wrestling one event a year? Probably not. But they can income stack. They can wrestle a couple of these events, and like in a case like maybe Yianni or when Yanni's done with school, he could be wrestling or coaching, he could be coaching at a school, getting a salary there, volunteer RTC, something like that, getting paid there through the school or through the program, as well as doing these RTC events. Kind of that's what he's training for, getting paid that way. And then he can be getting brand deals. These wrestlers can be getting brand deals. And the cool thing is this NCAA season, wrestlers can be getting paid for their image and likeness starting in January, I believe it is. Their name, image, and likeness, which is going to, I mean, I think this is something that has been necessary and needed to be done for quite some time. But I think that the world of wrestling is starting to open up. Could this make wrestlers professional? I mean, I think that there are professional wrestlers now. Kyle Dake, David Taylor, Jordan Burroughs, Kyle Snyder. These are guys who are making money from brand deals and from their Olympic medals and their world medals. You know, they're getting paid that way in the RTC events and the RTCs. So I think that this just opens the gates for even more, maybe even not even lesser known or smaller time wrestlers to be able to make a living through wrestling. And I think that this is super exciting for wrestling fans for many numbers of reasons. And I hope to see this trend continue into 2021 and beyond. So this video is for my Patreon channel members, as well as, I'm releasing it now to the public. But for my Patreon channel members, I will have another video upcoming talking about times that my content just got totally ripped off. If you're interested in watching a video like that, I recommend you check out the Fanco Wrestling Patreon page, link down in the description below. And thank you again to all my supporters.